Everything that Charlie did, political or not, he infused Jesus into it. We talk about that, but when you say you have to have 50% black pilots and we need to get it done now, then what do you need to do to get that larger percentage? You have to lower the standards. And when you lower the standards, just like in anything, if you lower the standards and you're not being properly trained how to fly a commercial jet, you put people in danger. So he's not saying black people aren't smart enough to be pilots, or women aren't smart enough to be pilots, or whatever. Put any descriptor you want in there. What he's saying is when you create this large DEI percentage and then you lower the standards, that puts people in harm's way. Does that make sense? Well, actually, in a lot of industries, they did. In the pilots, in the industry, they did say 50% black pilots. They did say that. And so a lot of the industries do. They have these metrics. So that is happening. Well, I don't have it on me. We can look it up. Okay, a lot of research has come out that Martin Luther King was a Marxist and that he was the socialism, and a lot of the civil rights things that he advocated for were not really helpful. Now, there's a lot of research to that, but we can argue about that. That's kind of what you said. And also in his personal life, my oldest daughter had a lot of trauma as a child. Something really terrible happened to her when she was very young that I would hope never would happen to any other child. And as a result of it, she's a lesbian, she's gay, and she's married to a woman. And sometimes that's a little bit of internal struggle for me, because I believe that marriage is between a man and a woman, and I believe that scripture is very clear on homosexuality. But on the other side of that, I love her dearly. We are in relationship. And that's what Charlie Kirk's message was. It's like, we may not agree. My daughter knows where I stand biblically, but I love her. We're actually going to spend Christmas with her in Missouri. We love her, and we have a child, and I love my grandchild, and I love my daughter-in-law, which is weird to say, right? My daughter's married to a woman, but it is the reality. There's an individual in Placer County that she's a very lost soul, and my friends, we pray for her. And she likes to trash me online. She trashes other conservative leaders, other elected officials. She says the most horrible things. I'm not concerned, because what she does is she takes things out of context. And that's a dangerous place to be. Do you know Christian nationalists and all these names? That's just a name that the left made up to silence people. I am a Christian and I love my nation. Okay, if I'm a Christian nationalist, but they use it in a negative way. But people are afraid to have those labels. Now, let me just clarify. We need to love everybody. We do not need to discriminate. You may not agree with somebody's lifestyle, but we love them and we're kind to them. You can have a difference of opinion. It doesn't mean that you're hateful. Don't let the world or politics or the left put a label on you because to silence you, right? You have to, and you also need to fear God, not fear man. That's the tactic that the other side uses, that people who are being used of the devil, they use that tactic to make you
also,
feel.
I hope you understand that things that Charlie Kirk said would make someone like me, who is a genderqueer pansexual socialist, feel unsafe. I feel unsafe because of some of the comments that he made about women. I understand you said please don't take this out of context, but when he was asked if your 10-year-old child was raped and there was going to be a baby made out of it and both of them were going to survive, would the baby have been born? And he said yes. I hope that can make some people pause, because that would be an incredibly, if that happened to me at 10, I feel like my consent would have been completely wrong. So I hope that there's an understanding here that as much as we don't want to disagree, there is a lot of feelings of unsafetyness because of just this club and just a bunch of.
There's nothing unsafe about this room, and I understand what you're saying with Charlie, but again, I think maybe ask yourself this question. Do you feel unsafe by some of the things Charlie said? Because that's what, and I'm sorry if the term the left offended you. I didn't mean that to offend you, but that's how we, right, left, middle, whatever, right? Okay. Because maybe that's what the media and what people are saying now. It's like, oh, he said this, or he's this or that, or whatever. Maybe if you actually spend some time actually listening to what he said. I mean, yes, he advocated for I even respect people who are atheists, although I think that it takes a lot more faith to be an atheist than it does to believe that there's a higher power and a creative designer, right? But of course I respect other people.
When you think about this, what do you think about separation of church and state? And do you value other religions as well as atheism, just as like you understand that they're the same value as Christianity and Catholicism?
Well, that's a really good question. So I'll tell you, I just spoke to a whole group of students in the LDS church. I'm not Mormon, but I love them. I have a lot of friends. I respect what they believe. Separation of church and state is a myth. Okay, it's not in the Constitution. Our world has flipped that and tried to say that there's no place for faith in the public life, and so that's not really what he meant. So to answer your question like this, now when I'm on city council, I don't sit up on the dais and preach a sermon. That's inappropriate, right? We're there to do city business, but the decisions that I make, and we don't really deal with political stuff on city council, but if I was to do higher office or whatever, the decisions that I make are based on my biblical worldview, just like my colleagues that make their decisions are based on their biblical or not biblical worldview, right? So the idea